Hi guys, I'm Sheena, the Sports Report Girl, here with another edition of In the Crease, my weekly recap of the top stories from the National Hockey League. So, there was a lot going on this past week, but the biggest event by far was Martin Brodeur's quest to rewrite history. Last Saturday, Marty tied the NHL mark for career wins, a record held by his childhood idol, Patrick Roy. As if conceived by Hollywood, win number 551 came in his hometown of Montreal against the Canadiens with the aforementioned Roy in attendance. Clearly, the fans there love their own, and Marty is no exception, as he received a prolonged standing ovation by the Bell Center crowd after the final horn. Brodeur then followed up Saturday's performance by clinching sole possession of the record Tuesday night at home when the Devils beat the Blackhawks. Nearly lost in all the excitement in Montreal that evening was another milestone. Patrick Elias scored his 701st point against the Habs, tying a team record held by John McClain. No, not that John McClain. The former Devils great and current assistant coach, John McClain. There is a bit of a resemblance, though, don't you think? And speaking of milestones, if Brodeur plays all the remaining games down the stretch, the Devils' final match will be the 1,000th regular season game of his career. Another big story that dominated the hockey headlines and airwaves last week concerned the potential rule changes which govern fighting. During the annual GM meetings, proposals designed to curb the occurrence of staged fights and fights which commence after clean hits were submitted to the competition committee. But few inside hockey want to eliminate fighting altogether. After all, it's one of the most popular aspects of the game. That would be like baseball doing away with home runs. As you know, chicks dig the long ball. And despite what some might say, we really do dig fights, especially when guys are fighting over us. That said, some fighting in the NHL has become gratuitous. But if the GMs are so concerned about player safety, then why don't they take a tougher stand on checking from behind? Moving on. Sean Avery is not only back, he is back with a vengeance. Sunday, in NBC's Game of the Week, the Rangers beat the Flyers at home in the second leg of back-to-back home-and-home games over the weekend. Avery now has 4 goals in 7 games since rejoining the Rangers, compared to just 3 in 27 with the Stars. Both his goals Sunday were on the power play, and it's his 3rd straight game finding the back of the net. Clearly, the Rangers play like a better team when he's in the lineup. In the 7 games with Avery, they are 5-2, compared to 1-4-2 during the 7 games prior to his return. Even Captain Drury is singing his praises, saying, "Rather than booing us, the crowd is chanting Avery. I'll take that any game." Whether it's Avery, Tortorella, or some combination of the two, New York is now tied with Montreal at 80 points and is only 4 behind the Flyers. They better keep up their winning ways, though, as the Eastern race is nearly as tight as the West. They may only be 4 points out of 4th place, but are conversely only 2 points out of 9th. And finally, the NHL has decided to relocate their annual award ceremony from Toronto to Las Vegas starting this June. With 4/5 of the league's franchises located in the US, it makes sense to have it here. Toronto is off the radar for the average sports fan, and New York is so big it could get lost in the shuffle. But Sin City is perfect. And since what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, we won't have to worry about players getting into trouble and embarrassing the league, right? On second thought, maybe Toronto isn't such a bad idea after all. Okay, guys, that's it for this edition of In the Crease. But please don't forget to leave your comments. We love to hear from you. And if you like the show, be sure to subscribe and best of all, tell a friend. Oh, and next week, I will be out of town, so I will see you back here next week after that. Does that make sense? Not next week, but the week after that. 2 weeks from now. All right.